welcome back guys to our Aobuta volume set review here on Doggo Card Reviews. I am joined once again by Gavin.
Yes, let the hype continue,
Yes,
boys.
so this time we will be going over the green cards, beginning with none other than... Whoops. My bad. Tomoe Koga, Little Devil's Trouble. Level 00 costs 1500 power with the Adolescence and Smartphone traits. Also, when this card attacks, choose one of your characters and that character gets plus X power until the end of the turn, where X is equal to the number of your back row Adolescence characters multiplied by 1000. And also, at the beginning of your encore step, if you have no other rested characters in your front row, you may pay 1 stock. If you do, rest this card.
So, Umi went to the gym.
Umi did go to the gym.
Damn.
Assuming you are able to make a board, because Umi is always 1500 power, whereas this one is as low as 0 or as high as 2000.
So, assuming the 2000 mark, I mean, she's just a better version of Umi. Like, it's just... The regenerator ability, I've actually grown to like quite a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely usable. And what I really like about these is they dodge any encore penalties. Like if you play anything that says you cannot use encore for the rest of the turn when this card's reversed or something, then you're still free to use this ability because technically the character never left the board.
I mean, who uses Encore in general anyway? Like besides standby decks.
Besides standby guys. True, but you know, just like having this kind of option. And you know, I like these kinds of profiles when playing against standby decks just because they are cheap to keep on the board without having to bleed hang up the wazoo.
Oh, and the 2000 power might be useful for getting over their thick walls.
Right, so I'm gonna say overall I will give it a playable plus for those reasons.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you and give this a playable rating.
Alright, so what we should say is not playable plus and more just playable.
Well, I like these profiles. I'm not 100% like, this is like one of the cards, one of the reasons to play the set. Like, back in OG Love Live, you know, I played Lily White, so I found the card like, it's a decent frontliner, but there are other cards in the deck where I was just like, you know, I'd rather play like the Umi Bomb or the Bean Ricky or other cards like that. And you know, when even building Aobuta, I was just like,
I suppose. I mean, I would argue that this is very much a usable level 0 option if you are looking to play. You know, I would say it's definitely more flexible, especially if you are in an area known for playing like a lot of standby or something. Then this you can definitely make the point of this over other level 0 profiles that the title has to offer.
That is true. That is true. Although in this particular set, I do prefer the Shimakaze Kai from set 1.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, then moving along.
Alright, Shoko Makinohara, Time and Memory. 3-2-6-5, Adolescence and Mystery. If you have 4 or more other guys on board, this gains -1 level in hand. She's a global 1500, and when she enters the battlefield, you may look up to X cards, where X is the number of adolescence, and you pick one of those cards, send it up, and pitch the rest.
So this has a very easy early play condition that can also just boost your guys right from the get-go, while also being a cantrip. You know, this is definitely a very, very nice support card for your back row at level 2 onwards in pretty much any version of the deck you build outside of any non-Shoko waifu decks, of course. But we don't really talk too much about that here.
I was about to say. This card, having played this card, I was just like, the 1500 boost is really nice. The fact that she comes down very easily, also good. The cantrip, finding that climax has been a pain sometimes, especially in the 8 choice variant. the Shoko level 3 variants are not as difficult, but I mostly find myself looking for additional Shokos with this particular card in that particular deck.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty much, I see absolutely nothing wrong with this card. I think get this the playable plus easily.
For sure, I will have to concur and agree. It's just a very, very usable profile, and being able to come out at level 2 is really, really powerful. What the heck?
Oh.
My program just like, no, Gavin's playable plus is just invalid. He lied.
Ooh.
Let's try that again.
And you know what's hilarious? It actually makes the tiny early plays in the set live.
That is true. Even something as small as Kaede from set 1 becomes a okay, acceptable 10,000 with this.
Yeah, I switched to Shoko.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, certain people that we shall not name are sticking to Kaede for some odd reason.
They like their 2-1. 2 soul. Alright, moving on. Rio Futaba visiting. Level 0, 0 cost, 500 power with the Adolescence and Science traits. Assist. All of your characters in front of this card get 500 power. And startup act. Rescue your characters. Choose one of your characters and that character gains the following ability until the end of this turn. When the battle opponent of this card becomes reversed, you may send the top card of your deck into your stock.
Oh boy, tap 2s.
Yeah, tap 2s are a bit harder to work with, especially when a lot of people really, really love to use their self-tap brainstorms.
Like when this card was first spoiled, I was like, a lot of people projected to me that the Shoko variant of this particular deck is going to have stock issues. Having played the deck, I'm just like, what are you talking about? There are no stock issues.
Like on first glance, I could, I will say this. I will say at first glance, it can look that way, just because you read her cost and you go, holy crap, this costs a lot of resources.
Having actually played the card, that's not true at all.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it also depends on how you're building the path to get there.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of people are really greedy and want to still stick with the choice variant.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, I adapted the Dig Through Time variant.
These are all like spoilers until some part of this later.
Right. And the frontal 5, is kind of whatever. The stock charge, again, I would prefer the traditional on startup, give the on reverse stock charge to one of your guys' profile in this case instead of the tap 2.
Like something like Maya Kainge from Conclave, you're saying.
I was gonna bring up Maya actually. Or hell, even another condition, like have like 2 or more cards in exile, you have the on reverse stock charge ability.
Yeah,
you get that ability.
Yeah, so I would say all in all, this is very, very much a niche.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, dude. Like, I considered this during building, but I was just like, I'd rather actually play the stock charge, the vanilla from set 1 over this, even though that consumes a lot more slots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't have to do as much work on your board.
Right.
So, it's all about trade-offs. Okay.
Shoko Makinohara, coincidence. 0025, Adolescence Mystery. Let's see here. Startup, tap this. If you don't have a marker with underneath this, choose a character with Mai in its name from your grave and place it underneath it as a marker. Startup, pay 1. Eject the marker, send it to the grave, tap. Check top 3, add 1 Adolescence to your hand, reveal, and bin the rest.
When I read this card, it really reminded me of that one Len card from Project Diva X, where I believe he just stocks he markers any music character, and he can eject that character to look at top 4 instead of top 3. So it goes to show that Bushido is really, really afraid of the number 4. The more they're making these digging through your deck for character profiles.
At first, when I read this card, I was thinking, hey, this could potentially replace our brainstorm.
But then when you realize that it's very, very delayed.
And the fact that I don't run enough Mai in any of my decks anymore, despite her being best girl, to justify this card. I'm just like, oh, crap.
Yeah, because a card like this really requires you to play a good chunk of Mai that won't you just simply lose access to temporarily.
It's just like, okay, I can mark her the... Like, if I was still in the My Level 3 game plan, maybe, but... Nowadays, I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, even then, your mice would barely, your level 3 mice in particular would rarely be in.
I think I'd actually rather have them in exile, honestly.
Yeah, like I mean, sure you could stalk away your level 0 Bungie Girl, but.
But that's just free mill in general. This is delayed and costed.
Yeah, so I'm going to say all in all, yes. Let's be on the safe side.
Niche, yeah, honestly.
Alright. Rio Futaba Telephone Agency. Level 0, 0 cost, 2500 power with the Adolescence and Science traits. Also, when this card is placed from your hand onto the stage, you may discard one climax from your hand to your waiting room. If you do, choose an Adolescence character in your waiting room and add it to your hand. And also, when this card becomes reversed in battle, you cannot use Auto Encore for the rest of the turn, and this includes the Encore 3 stock provided by the game rules.
So, talk about strictly superior.
Yeah, I really like it when I just like it when there are oversized versions of utility cards. Because, you know, this is typically a 2000 power profile, or less if it has additional abilities.
It's like the bottom sentence, the oh no, you can't encore.
It will seldom happen if it will seldom be a hindrance if at all.
I'm just like, I wasn't intending to pay 3 anyway. Yeah, sure, it's dead. You can have it, man.
Oh sure, my board's wiped. Have fun.
and it's just like, and being a 2/5, that just makes her just that much bulkier.
Because that means that she actually ties with vanilla runners.
Oh,
well, vanilla mill runners, that's correct.
I was about to say vanilla runners.
And then she can run over regular runners.
I was about to say the free runners just get flat out destroyed now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this is very much a regular playable.
Yep, definitely. However, this can bite you if you have this on board and you're playing a standby deck. Just be aware of that. Yeah,
of course, in those cases, you would try to probably, like, ram her in, or just keep her in your back row or something. You know, ram her in on the offensive, or keep her in the back row until you know you're going to do something about it.
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, my hypothesis, Rio Futaba, 103k. Adolescence and Science. Okay. When she enters the battlefield, you may pay the cost of pay 1, discard a card from your hand, search your deck for an Adolescence, reveal it, and shuffle. When she becomes reversed, if the cost of the battle opponent is 0 or lower, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into their grave. If so, put that character into clock.
Alright, so this is pretty much a way to deal with opposing boards while having an on-play search. It's like okay profile, but you know, pre-fielding these is a problem, especially if people are playing oversizes to try to sacrifice a less 1k character if you're trying to play this preemptively. So it's a little tricky with this kind of card in this particular set too, or this particular title, I should say.
It's one of those things like the fact that she's 3k means that level 0s can kill her.
Yeah, so preemptively fielding this allows your opponent to field weenies and trade with that instead of what you might have been intending with like opponents try fielding their level 1 costless climax combo or something like that.
Shingeki comes to mind.
Shigeki does come to mind, but
Like that's the number one combo I want to deny with this kind of card.
right.
I mean, Saikano as well. They would be extremely annoyed by this.
True, like this does have its uses.
And at the same time, you stapled a drop search onto it. I've noticed nowadays they started stapling the drop search to level 1s. Have you noticed that?
They have, but at least nowadays it's actually level ones that can do something than just simply on a 104500 with on play search.
Oh, yeah, we put those in the garbage, man.
Hey, yeah, so at least now they're actually putting these on cards that can do something on the board than just on play search and be weak.
Oh, boy.
This is definitely very tricky to put a judgment on, but you know.
I mean, like, this would be a situation, if we had it, I would put the playable minus on.
Right, I understand.
But though I will be teetering, and I will put this at the, against my better judgment, the playable rating.
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines, or similar lines, I should say. Like, I think you can argue slots for this card, especially if you feel you're dealing with like stuff like the Attack on Titan Aaron combo a lot or something like that you just really don't want to happen, and you know.
But they could easily just dispatch this card with Armin's.
Right. So you know, it's a little tricky. You know, how do you really want to play?
They pretty much have to choose: do they want to bleed hand now, or do they want not to combo with Aaron?
Right. So this is a card that can put certain decks in awkward situations should you get to level 1 first. Alright. Shoko Makinohara, long for wedding dress. Level 1, 0 cost, 4000 power with the adolescence and mystery traits. Auto climax combo. When a card named Seaside Wedding Hall, a gold bar trigger, is placed on your climax area, if this card is on your front row, all of your other characters get the following ability until the end of the turn. When the battle of opponent of this card becomes reversed, you may put the top card of your deck into your stock. And also, when this card attacks, choose one of your adolescence characters, and that character gets 1500 power until the end of the turn.
So, when I first read this card, I was thinking, well, our stock issues are fixed, boys. until I read the word becomes reversed. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, we not everyone can be Oxing and Sasune Miku.
I'm just like, oh.
Or
God,
go my way, Ritsuko.
Or Shizuru.
Or Shizuru.
But at the same time, I was like, okay, this could net me.
Though, to be fair, wasn't Shizuru on a stock soul?
Yes. Oh, actually, no. Our favorite idol our favorite idol to despise.
Oh,
a certain Nico.
Right. She is, yeah.
But at the same time, I was just like, you know what?
Like, this is meant to be high rolling because you have, the more of these you have, the more stock you can get.
But at
like,
the same
it multiplies, basically.
But at the same time, first off, it's all blind. So you could be potentially trapping climaxes.
Right.
And they might be too deep to dig out. And at the same like, this was obviously built for the Shoko level 3 profile.
Right.
But at the same time, getting the 10 stock required, from my experience, hasn't been that difficult. So
I'd argue this is definitely more for like Shoko waifu than anything. So niche for me.
Yeah, I'd give this the niche, honestly. It's playable. Like, even in Shoko waifu, you have a Shimakaze.
Alright, but you know, I'm pretty sure someone will try to like dick around with this.
Well.
Alright,
let's move on. Rio Futaba, usual exchange, 329k. Adolescence, it's science. When she enters the battlefield, you look at the top 3, pick one of those cards, add it to your hand, pitch the rest. When this card attacks, choose one of your adolescents. They gain X power for the turn, where X is 500 times your guys. Discard two character cards specifically. And when the battle opponent this becomes reversed, you may pay the cost. If you do, clock kick them.
Alright, so we're going on play cantrip and on attack pump a person by up to 2,000 and cross turn clock kick. No, that's not too bad. I just kind of wish this was a little bigger on the defense, but oh well, we can't have everything.
I was about to say, man, this is not as good as Leafa.
Oh yeah, no.
But at the same time, despite this not being as good as Leafa, she's still a good card. Like, clock kicks, I feel a lot of people underrate clock kicks, especially comboless kicks. You know, it could really help in certain situations. Like, oh great, my opponent is heavily compressed, but they're at like 3-4, and I have several Futabas out, so I'm like, okay, they could potentially. So I could potentially send them to their grave here if I have a big enough hand.
Right. And even then, if your opponent somehow survives and they end up being like 3-5, 3-6, gotta be very careful around a card like this.
So, and coming from that commentary, like, you can even give the, like, let's say for example your opponent accidentally left a level 0 in play.
Right.
You could give the power to something else. This is a 2/5 boost to anybody on your board, so.
Oh, that's right. Oh, 2,500. Yeah, you're right.
So, this could even help the Koga restamp. We'll see later. So, I'm gonna have to get this the playable rating.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This is just it's just additional utility on top of, you know, getting that extra push of damage with a clock kick on both turns and just pumping up characters. You know, you really cannot ask for too much more on what is most likely a tech card for most people.
Though my only complaint is she's 9k on defense.
Yeah, that's the main issue. Okay.
Next.
Shoko Makinohara, Living Together. Level 0, 0 cost, 4,000 power with the Adolescence and Science traits. Continuous, all of your opponent's characters get Encore Pay to stock. Well,
it's not the worst.
It's not the
worst detriment for a 4K. But at the same time, I feel nowadays, why are you playing 4Ks in general? Like, if you're on a budget, that's like the only way I'm seeing it. But
even then, there are plenty of good level zeros that don't require you to spend a lot. Like the Nogoka runner or Nogoka jumpers were an uncommon rarity.
I was about to say that runner is $13, sir.
No, not runner. I meant I meant to say jumper.
The jumper. Oh, also the anti-runner in yellow. That's pennies on the dollar, and
right.
And even then, that's probably a better card than this. Like a 4K. Like a lot of people see 4Ks as free reversal targets. They can plus that card all day long. Literally, I've had 4Ks live until deep level 2 because people simply ignored it.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't the worst.
Well, some people will purpose. Well, I can see like some line of play where people can leave a 4K that says you cannot play event or backup on the board on purpose.
Oh, yeah. Because who cares if they plus that card all day? No events or counters, they can't save themselves at that point.
Right.
So, judging by the commentary, I'm just gonna go with the niche rating.
You can make the argument for this.
Shoko waifu.
Shoko waifu at best. We probably would say.
Tomoe Koga, Events in a Dream. 1145, adolescent smartphone. Assist, she is a level assist. A frontal level assist. Climax combo, when impossible phenomenon. The gold bar is placed in your climax area. Choose one of your guys and give them the following ability. When the battle opponent this becomes reversed, check top 4, add 1 to hand. And pitch the rest, obviously.
Hi there, this is Mingy Karen, or was it now that did that?
It's Karen.
Karen, right. Okay, I was right the first time.
You and everybody else makes that reference.
I mean...
Well, first off, Karen also gave the premier level 3 of that deck an additional 1000 power boost. And also, Karen is also a global level assist.
That's true, okay? That's why I say this is more of a mini Karen.
True. Though, when comparing the two characters, yeah, I definitely prefer Karen Hojo over Koga.
On top of that, it's not like there's a brainstorm that brainstorms 5 and one of the climaxes is impossible phenomenon that's checking for.
But but either way, so going back to this card, so the frontal level assist is kind of whatever. Like,
I mean, level 1, you know, it's not the end of the world.
it's a frontal 5, dude.
Yeah.
That's level 1. Yeah, unless you played a standby, but again, it's 1000 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of and the fact that it's dig 4 take 1 is kind of just you can take it or leave it at that point. I would rather just leave it. I'd rather be like, this is flexibility, but at the same time, this does require a reversal. And
yeah, and on top of that, this kind of profile would prefer you actually have good standalone level 1s, preferably costless, which, you know, those are few and far in between.
you could justify stuff like assassins with this type of card, but that involves you playing a kind of janky climax combo, a relatively janky level assist, and deadly assassins, which all three are just kind of yeah, I think I'd rather just
they've lost their luster, so yes from me.
Yeah, niche.
Right. Rio Futaba, Expression of Relief. Level 1, one costs 5500 power with the Adolescence and Science traits. For each of your other Adolescence characters, this gets 500 power, and also at the start of the encore step, if you have no other rested characters in your front row, you may pay 1 stock if you do rest this card.
Alrighty. 1175 with the regenerator ability. Like I said with the 1175 from set 1, these cards are just kind of just whatever at this point. Like, they're okay standby targets. Honestly, I think I'd rather standby in, you know, better utility cards rather than bulk at this point. Like, this wouldn't be so bad if they just did more, like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand, especially when 7500 with a 2k 2.5k counter isn't that impressive in some matchups.
I'd argue it's kind of just at that point.
Yeah,
especially since with the 2.5 version you most likely paid for it too.
Right.
Even if you didn't pay for this,
it's very easy to just kind of like have little to no net stock gain by playing this profile in some cases.
Like for example, okay, the rest of your board gets wiped. You can regen this for 1. Okay, that means even if you stood by this in, that means you went stock neutral as opposed to stock positive. And this is like, the regenerator profile is useful at 0, but at 1 it kind of loses its luster. Like, I can see people playing the 2/2 Saya from Bang Dream that also has the regenerator ability, but I think that's kind of more out of necessity rather than choice. I think that people rather would play a Han Encore profile if they could help it.
Right.
So in that case, I'm gonna have to give this the niche rating.
Yeah. I'm just gonna agree here. There's not too much of an argument that can be made for this in like any competitive viewpoint. Right.
Okay, which Senpai? Tomoe Koga, 216k. Adolescent smartphone. Pitch a CX when this enters the battlefield. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's guys and send it to exile. At the start of their encore step, they come back onto any slot. When this becomes reversed, if the battle opponent of this is higher level than your opponent, you may send the top card of your opponent's clock into their grave, and if so, put that guy into clock.
You know, I've been noticing that kind of profile recently. On play gets a CX to temporarily exile an opposing character.
The flicker ability.
Yeah. Well, delay flicker.
it's kind of what it's useful for getting rid of minus soul walls. Priestess, anybody?
Yeah. Or anything I said, anything that just like rains on your parade, like the occasional anti-burn. Or when Charlotte somehow becomes relevant for like 3 weeks after K 20th anniversary releases.
Chartal, anybody?
So, yeah, you know, this is a very neat way for the title to answer some annoyances like those. And being an anti-change clock bomb is to boot on top of that. Not bad.
It's not bad at all, honestly. Like, it's not my preferred style of anti-change, but if I have nothing better, I guess. The flicker ability is mostly what I would be using this for, but even then, I probably want to hold. I probably would want to hold on to my climax. If I just have one in my hand, if I'm flooded, I'm probably just dead anyway. So, this is a tough call, honestly. This is another situation where if we had playable minus, I would give it this, but
I think I would first go with playable. I think there's you can make a
the argument playable it is. You could make the argument there.
All right. Shoko Makinohara arrived at destination. 2-1 6500 with the adolescence and mystery traits. Continuous if you have 2 or more other adolescence characters. This card gets 2000 power. And auto experience when this card attacks, if the sum of levels of cards in your level area is 5 or higher, choose one of your characters and that character gets 3000 power until the end of turn.
Boy, well, this is definitely a way for Shoko Waifu to dispatch early plays at the very minimum.
Yeah, like this practically is an 8500 vanilla with an additional ability if I really had to read it that way.
It's kind of, I mean, experience 5 is not too difficult with this set.
No, you're gonna be playing like a Gorillion level 3s.
13, 14 level 3s easily, so in this particular case, niche.
Yeah, your spots are really better off elsewhere. With across several things of early plays and other ways to deal with big characters.
Sakuta Azusagawa, unexpected destination, 00-1500. He's just adolescence, guys. So, when he dies, you may pay the cost of 2. You may tutor for 1 adolescence, reveal it, and shuffle.
I really kind of wish they stopped making these profiles.
Well, with Bushiroad math, pay 2 is a +1. Is +1 card.
Well, you're not wrong.
But the problem, I mean, and that's going with dinosaur math, sir. So that's going with dinosaur math. But even then, like, even getting our heads out of dinosaur land, it's just one of those. This can be disrupted so easily that I'm just like.
I have only one comment.
Make it double.
You believe more than me that they should just simply go the way of the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Shoko Makinohara, favorite words. Level 0, 0 cost 1500 power with the adolescence and mystery traits. Auto, climax combo. When a card named Words Running Around, which is a green stock soul, is placed on your climax area, you may pay the cost of pay 1. Put that climax into your waiting room. If you do, Return all cards in your way room into your deck and shuffle your deck. And start up, rest this card to choose one of your adolescence characters, and that character gets 1500 power until the end of the turn.
You know, when I first read this card, I was thinking, oh, sweet, this is our free refresh. And then I saw Climax combo, I was like, shit. Oh, and at that moment, I realized I fucked up.
Well, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna want to make a meme deck, so I'm gonna give it that rating.
Like, even in Shoko Waifu, you have arguably better choices, so nice meme, bruh. I mean, the bottom sentence can be useful for pumping the Shimakaze into kill range. That's primarily why I'd use this card.
Right, but, you know, I'm giving it meme for the fact that people will try to mess around with, I have Climax combo on demand refresh.
Sure, bro. You can heal that refresh point all day long. I'll just laugh at you while I play better cards. Shoko Makinohara. Now what do I want to write? 0025. Alrighty, during your turn, if there's a marker underneath this gains 2k. Once you enter the battlefield, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's Adolescence, put it underneath it as a marker. If not, leave it.
I wish it wasn't this version of marker power up. I much prefer something like Chisago where it's plus 1001 level.
I was going to fucking say that!
I have only one comment for this version of it.
Yeah, same. Oh man, why?
Like, this could have been so much better.
It would have entered the realm of playable with Chisato.
Rip. By the way, happy birthday to Chisato on the day we're recording this. Wow. It is April 6th. Right. Shoko Makinohara, abruptly at the hospital. Level 0, 0 cost, 3000 power vanilla, that is an adolescence and mystery trait. Now, before we say anything, there is a card that refers specifically to this that we'll see later.
I was about to say. So, well, again, I don't want to provide any spoilers right now for the interaction between those two cards, so...
Maybe we just want to come back to this after we talk about that card?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll hold off on it because of an interaction with something.
Okay, Sakuta Azusagawa, changing condition, 1035 adolescence. Alrighty, so he's a pitch bond for Shoko Makinohara, sudden changing condition, card number 42. The next card, basically. Resonance, reveal said card at the beginning of your climax phase. If this card's your front row, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your guys and pump them by 2k.
So with the Resonance, you turn this into a vanilla, and someone else gets 2k. And pitch bond. Pitch bond's a pitch bond, but I would probably say overall it's a niche card for the OTP deck.
Yep. Especially this movie's trying to, you know, push those two together.
Cough, cough.
Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched the movie yet.
Shoko Makinohara, sudden change in condition. Level 1, 0 cost, 3500 power with the adolescence and mystery traits. Also, she herself is a hand bond to the previous Sakuta Azusagawa, sudden change in condition. And also, Resonance. At the start of your climax phase, you may reveal a card named Sakuta Azusagawa, sudden change in condition from your hand. If you do, this card gets 4000 power until the end of the turn.
Hot damn. 9-5. She's potentially 9-5 before support. And
by revealing 2 cards from your hand.
I mean, these are worse than vanillas. They're gonna get run over on the defensive. They're
again, OTP deck only.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Shoko Makinohara, cleaning, 1045. Adolescence mystery, discard. Discard an Adolescence. When this enters the battlefield, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for Shoko Makinohara, Abruptly at the Hospital. Card number 40. Reveal it and add it to your hand. Pitch that same card. Look at the top 4 from your deck. Choose up to 1 Adolescence from among them and add it to reveal it and add it to your hand. Pitch the rest.
So this is what we mean by the interaction with the previously mentioned vanilla Shoko. And as you can see, it is a two-step Azusagawa Akatsuki, whatever you want to call the profile these days, by discarding said vanilla.
Okay, when I first looked at this card, I was thinking all our free mill problems are solved. And then I read the second card. I was like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, it's really funny how this title has done. This is the second time they've done this thing where playing a vanilla can add some kind of neat little power up to your deck if you choose to go that route. Because we saw it in set 1 with the Sakuta and Rio interaction. Now we have Shoko and Shoko.
The problem is that number 1, we have the Bize already, and number 2, we also have the highly underrated and largely ignored event version of this. I don't know why, but it seems that a certain sect of players are completely allergic to the event version of this card.
Excuse me.
And I'm like, why? It's literally, it takes up a lot less spaces. My biggest problem is space.
That's one of the biggest problems with playing these kinds of engines. You really need to dedicate quite a few slots to have this even be remotely playable.
Like, for example, I've seen lists that play 3 of this for the vanilla. Oh great, I drew the vanilla. Oh great, I drew the vanilla in my opening hand, and it's my only level 0. Well, it's either I play this or I time walk. And as many other competitive players have proven, time walking in this game is not exactly the best thing to do.
I would probably argue that both of these. I would argue for myself. Both of these cards are just simply niche.
Yeah, even though this is the closest thing to the Azusa effect that we have, niche. I think I'd rather just play the event over that.
Right, and now go back to the vanilla.
I mean, sure, the vanilla is bulky, but at the same time, it's just too many spaces for it to be worth it.
Right. Okay. Rio Futaba, Events in a Dream. 2/1, 2500 with the Adolescence and Science traits. Also, when you use the backup of this card, choose one of your characters in battle and that character gets the following ability until the end of the turn. Also, when the battle opponent of this card becomes reversed, send that character to memory. And act counter backup 3000 level 2, pay 1, discard this card from your hand to the waiting room.
So the exile counters. I've actually kind of partial towards these cards. Actually, they're not bad. They're useful for getting rid of very annoying setups. The best case for this card that I can think of off the top of my head is when dealing with Love Live Sunshine, dealing with a specific Best Girl idol, getting rid of her permanently, as opposed to just killing her. Which means she comes back, and it's like, oh great, I gotta deal with her again.
Yeah, so definitely a permanent stop to temporary problems.
This is most useful in standby S decks. Like, I actually did consider this when playing the Dig Through Time and a Shoko variant, but ultimately I was like, you know what? I think I'd rather just play anti-change counters at that point.
Yeah, but you could definitely make the argument for this to going just to like have the extra removal option.
Like this is like if anyone's still playing the standby variant, this is definitely very useful for protecting Koga. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely actually play this over the anti-change counter if you're still on that game plan. So I'm gonna get this playable rating.
Yeah, I was actually going to agree. Playable is definitely. This is very much playable. You can definitely put this in a lot of different decks, just because, it's basically a vanilla 3K that also has memory kick, which is very very neat.
Yep.
Okay.
Shoko Makinohara, Reason for Existence. 2275, Adolescence and Mystery. Experience, if you have experience 5, this gains 3k. And when this enters the battlefield, if you have 4 more other guys on the board, you may put the top card of your deck into stock.
So, we've said here many times that you'd rather not have to bring out a 2/2 from hand by paying 2 stock, but at least this potentially goes stock neutral for a 10/5 2 soul. It should be a 2 soul, right?
Yeah, it's a 2 soul beater.
So, but at the same time, the initial investment, and you rather just play. You rather just play an early play at that point.
Hey, at least the early play healed me, even if it dies in response.
Right.
At least
and these doesn't have any built-in like encore or bring back self for that investment.
So I only have one word for this.
Is it this? Or was I actually wrong?
I mean,
did you actually mean to say this?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. I
was about to say.
Like, if the fact that this title has so many early plays to choose from.
Even if you're on a budget.
If you're on a budget, there are affordable early plays. And your conditions are not terrible.
Unless you're a certain sect that believes 2 or less is terrible.
Oh, come on.
Amen. Certain people do believe they are bad.
Right. Enough of that. 2019, December 24. Level 2 1-cost event. Choose one of your standing characters with Sakuta in its card name and rested. If you do, choose an adolescence character in your clock and add it to your hand and send this card to memory.
So, this event was considered so good, they banned it. Or, it's on the restricted list, excuse me.
I'm actually trying to remember.
Kimono Friends.
Alright, but that one can rest any Friends character to do it.
No, it does not. It requires a board condition of 3 or more.
Oh, okay.
So, no tapping required, so... But at the same time, that's piss easy to meet.
Mm-hmm.
This, with Sakuta, I'm just like... I'm trying to think of, like, a list of playable Sakutas in my head. I'm just like...
There are very few.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's not many.
There's
so
like
that's the Achilles heel of this card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, congratulations, Bushiroad. You've turned a potentially banned card into a niche card, at best.
Speaking of this, that's what I'm giving it.
I mean... I love Heave Ho, but at the same time, I can't justify playing it because of the Sakuta requirement.
Right.
If this was like, even if this was Kaede, I could justify it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Futaba, or one of the girls, basically. One of the girls, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, they don't make this easy.
So give this the niche, please.
Mm-hmm. All right. And with that, we have concluded part 2 of our Aobuta Volume 2 review. Tune in next time for part 3 where we go over the red cards.
Yay, red.
Alright. Goodbye.